The Councilwoman LeVette Fuller here for a little bit. Hey, Miss LeVette, welcome back to Keel. What you up to? I hear you're caffeinated and raring to go.
I'm appalled about the whole ice cream with the wieners in it and about guacamole made out of squash.
You know, you're right. Those are the stories that matter the most this morning.
That's
No,
disgusting.
they're not, but it just grossed me out and I can't unhear it.
Yeah.
But for the sake of our radio show, let's keep it local. We had Grayson Butcher on last hour, fellow city council person. Don't know if you heard what he had to say, so let's start here.
No, I was asleep. What did he say?
The mayor's $220 million bond proposal, and I'm sure you've looked at it. He's looked at it. The other council people have looked at it. We'll cover Mr. Grayson in a second. What are your initial thoughts as to how it looks to you, the itemization, the degree of detail, and okay, rather than
that just sounds like an essay, question or like an essay test
rather
or
than
whatever.
interrupt your giggle, why don't you just tell us what you think?
It's a lot, and there's not a lot of detail. So, like, I think that there's some extra stuff that might be valid if we had more details on it. But right now, I would rather watch this 15 mils roll all the way off than vote for this entire thing.
What is it that's on there that you don't like, that maybe you don't think we need?
Well, I'd rather be like more positive about it, but I know that's not the kind of answer you're looking for. I will say that, no, I'm going to do my thing. I would rather look at splitting this in half and focusing on like 110 million or even down to like 60 million and looking at our dire needs. I remember growing up.
Which would be what? What would be at the top of your what would be at the top of your list?
For me would look at infrastructure and looking at the buildings for our first responders. Because if people are like, well, that's not spending money on economic development, I'm like, we won't be able to develop anything if our police have bad health because the environment is bad. That police department is not, we're not looking at trying to give them like a McMansion to do their work out of or like Google. There's like nasty stuff in there that is detrimental to people's health. I would rather put the money into a new building instead of a bunch of workman's comp.
LeVette, we're talking to City Councilwoman LeVette Fuller. The 2011 bond issue, we had town hall meetings at all the community centers around town where people brought their ideas to these. This was put together by an advisory panel in about a month. I asked Grayson this. I'll ask you, why the rush?
I'm not sure, but I know that I'm not sure, and I don't know. I'm not in the heads of the administration, but I would imagine that there's a couple of elections coming up. In October, we're going to have like a general for governor and some other stuff like commission, and then there's probably going to be a runoff for all of that stuff. So that's what the November is, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that they're trying to like match the dates of when people are going to be turning out to vote.
The last time we voted on this one, it was 3 propositions on the ballot: water and sewer, public buildings, police and fire, and parks and recreation was a separate one. It was one in there, and then there was a third one on streets and drainage. Mm-hmm. All the streets. I mean, we knew the projects. We knew the ones that were not going to be completed by 2019, Ninth Street, that we voted on back then. Mm-hmm. Are we going? Do you need that detail before you vote yes on this?
Heck yes, I do. We're going to be having an infrastructure meeting on Wednesday, the 7th at 1 o'clock. And within that meeting, it's going to be at least a 2-hour meeting. All of the department heads that have proposals that are infrastructure related, I'm the chair, that's why I asked for it, they're going to be giving us explicit information on that stuff. In our last meeting, the mayor said, well, y'all don't need to have a committee meeting. Y'all should be doing town halls. And I was explicit. I said, I can't do a town hall if I don't have the information to give to people, because it doesn't do me any good to have a town hall if you're asking questions and I have to say I don't know.
Grayson had told us last hour that he's spoken to the mayor. He said it was initially on another topic, but he said that the bond issue did in fact come up. Have you spoken to the mayor about the bond issue? If you have, what did that meeting go like? Or can you tell us if in your discussions with other council people, do they perceive that for the mayor that what's in the $220 million proposal is for the mayor, for lack of a better term, hill to die on? How adamant do you think he's going to be in holding firm in that amount?
I haven't spoken with the mayor. Move on to a question I can answer.
Okay. Answer this politically or answer it truthfully. Is this a tax increase?
It's a renewal of the 15 mills. I'd rather see the 15 mills right off or cut this in half so we're at least saving people a little bit of money.
I had also mentioned to Grayson last hour that as of right now, all of us in Shreveport, and to a great degree the mayor, they're on your clock. You guys, nothing happens with this until you decide. And what I said to Grayson is, what Aaron said earlier, is it that big a hurry? Can you conceive or perceive a situation where nothing really happens with this because of an inability to compromise with the mayor until the spring or maybe beyond? What do you think about that?
He probably already has the votes. He probably has the votes to pass this however they want to pass it without my help.
Oh, you think
but
so?
It's not. Yeah, but I think that there might need to be some compromises. I think there are people that would be fine with the full $220 million, but they're going to want to see some adjustments and see more information about each of these things. But even with that, I mean, I think he's probably going to have an open mind about something. But the public should have more opportunity with this, and I'm hoping the public is listened to. I'm listening, and that my colleagues hear back from their constituents and understand that rushing this through is not going to be in the best interest of anybody.
I would assume that you guys sort of have your own, or will have your own version of the mayor's version with amendments, changes, thoughts, etc. How much change from what the mayor wants do you anticipate the city council will give back to him?
Oh, there'll be some change, but that's gonna. But even between all 7 of us, it'll be interesting to see how those things go. For me, I would just be focusing on austerity, like I've already said. We've got streets and drainage issues. We've got water issues. Like outside of sewer, we're gonna have to start looking at water so people can actually have potable water. And then we've got the buildings that I've already discussed. If we can't do that for under $100 million, more desirably for me, $60 million, then I'm just going to be a no. But I'm hoping that I can pull people along with me so that we can do something that's a little bit more reasonable.
Okay, so correct me if I misunderstood. Did you say about a minute or 90 seconds ago that in your mind the mayor has the votes on the council to get $220 million?
I believe he might.
Hold on, wait.
But it won't be with me. It won't be with my help.
Let's make some news here, okay?
We're not supposed to do that. We want the things I can answer.
Fuller, no. Okay, then you can listen to me and Aaron. Fuller, no. Butcher, I would say right now, based on last hour,
no.
Mm-hmm. Nicholson, I would think, given the lack of detail that the council people say that they want.
So the other 4 are yeses, you're saying?
He's a no, and I would bet...
I mean, you make us sound like Huey, Dewey, and Louie when you do that. And I'm probably a harder no than either one of them. You can always think that Grayson's probably going to want to do whatever he can for first responders. Not that I wouldn't, but he's definitely going to be leading that charge. And John's already proven that he doesn't mind making people pay a little bit more money. Remember that whole trash fee thing? I voted against that.
I'm thinking all he's
Okay.
got is...
Okay,
I'm talking to Aaron now, not to you. I'm thinking all he's got is Bowman Green and Bradford.
He might have Flurry.
I don't think so.
LeVette, we got an elephant in the room.
I'm gonna sip my coffee.
Okay, you sip while I bring up the elephant. I got a big old rhinoceros
last
in the
question,
room.
we got to go.
Here's the reason this is being rushed. You ready? You heard it from me first. Because the 15 mills rolls off at the end of this year. If it rolls off and then we wait and do this in the spring, guess what it'll be in the spring? And you can't mix about.
Increase
It'll be a new tax. It'll be a new tax in the spring. So we gotta rush and call it a renewal while it's still a renewal. That's the reason for the rush. Is that the truth?
We're marking it up and marking it down to call it a sale.
Isn't this the truth? Am I not telling you the truth?
Well, I mean, your logic is sound, but I'm not going to put words or intent in anybody's, motivations.
Oh,
but
come on.
But it does make a lot of sense.
No.
You know me better than that.
Let's let it go with that.
It is not good for any of us for me to go around telling tales out of school.
Mark it up.
It's a renewal.
Mark it up to mark it down and call it a sale.
Yeah.
Councilwoman
I really
LeVette Fuller.
said that, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Great stuff as always. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
The Johnsons,
Right.
thank you too.